So let's get started. The remarkable power of placebo. I guess most people know what a placebo is. Placebo is, oh God, like everyone is here having a lesson and it's a little bit too noisy. The remarkable power of placebos. You know what placebo is, right? Placebo is like when you like are given certain pills, but they don't have medical properties, right? And they actually have no medical properties, but you are being given instructions. If you take it at certain fixed time, it will improve. It's the belief that you will get better. And that's the, like, usually when they roll out before any sort of vaccine, they first of all test the vaccine's efficacy or effectiveness against placebo. If the drug that's being released fails and doesn't show the same effectiveness as I say, placebo, then it's not going to be, released. For example, coronavirus vaccine or any other kind of, that's at least my general knowledge of how things are. If anybody is studying medicine here, they could tell us, in a more detailed way, but there's no need for that because we're going to learn about that in the, so well, again, as usual, what am I doing? I'm making mental associations with the topic. All right, I'm making mental associations with the topic. So let's get started. An explanation of neurological process by which placebos work, the origin of the word placebo. I think that one is going to be the easiest, right? Recommendation as to how medical professionals can take advantage of the placebo effect, how they can take advantage of it. Mention of the appearance of placebos, mention of appearance of can affect how well, mention of how the appearance of placebos can affect how well they work. One word only. So, all right, what is it? It appears that placebos can treat or reduce something of a wide range of conditions. The placebo effect happens when something has an effect on how our body feels. Placebo effect happens when something has an effect on how our body feels. Doctors have long believed it to be their responsibility, not only to treat patients' medical conditions, but also to improve their something. An example of a situation where placebo has little to no effect is if a patient has something, and it's been shown that patients will feel something in their muscles if they're given a placebo called muscle stimulator. A related phenomenon known as something effect convinces people to treatment will do harm. Two factors which influence the effectiveness of placebo pill are something and its size, obviously the size, which told the findings were observed in Harvard medical study. Usually, you know that from test point of view, one thing that you need to know about this type of question, these are usually pointing you towards a specific paragraph in the text. So I don't have to, I normally don't read, guys. I normally don't read these answer choices at the beginning because I believe at the beginning you don't have to, because once you find the relevant part, it's better to, rather than to find the correct answers, it's better to eliminate, the wrong answers. All right, if anyone is unmuted, can you guys unmute yourself, because my voice could be projected in a very noisy way, and some people might be having, issues with the understanding. Again, yes, John, can you unmute yourself? All right, so hopefully now it's clear for everyone. It's clear for everyone, right? All right, wonderful. Let's go. Let's get started. Again, when it comes to this type of question, every time you finish, you need to look at the 14, 15, 16, 17. That's how it works. But these, I'm lucky this type of question is easy sentence completion because things are in order, right? It's one of our most powerful medical treatments and certainly our most widely effective. In recent years, it's been found to help eliminate and lessen the symptoms associated with clinical depression. Okay, it helps with eliminating depression, irritable bowel syndrome, panic attacks, coughing, ADHD, among other conditions. This name of this wonderful treatment is it's the placebo effect, the remarkable power of the human brain to unconsciously influence the functioning and perception of the body. It's the placebo effect, the remarkable power of the brain to unconsciously influence the functioning and perception of the body. Do I have explanation of neurological process? They didn't. Neurological means related to brain, origin of the word, how medical professionals taking advantage. Appearance of placebos, they didn't talk about it. Like, let's look at it. It appears that placebos can treat and reduce something of wide range of conditions. Did they use synonym for wide range of conditions? Did they use, yes, they did use my. So I think the answer is eliminate and lessen, right? Eliminate is synonym for what? I mean, lessen is synonym for reduce. So, and then associate with, then they're counting all of these, like, look at this. So these are a wide range of conditions. So the answer is symptoms. I guess I have a weird feeling that you guys missed this one until I pointed it out. Like, why so? Right? Why did you guys miss it? Just a second. Symptoms, right? But it happens when something has an effect on our body. How does it, like the name, it's the placebo, the remarkable power of how human brain to influence the function, how our brain, right? So the answer is brain, right? Next one. The answer is how brain has an effect. Like here it says the human brain to unconsciously influence. So that's going to be 19. All right. So 19, and this one is going to be what? 18. Again, guys, keep an eye on questions. The term, which is Latin for I shall please, was first used sometime during the 1700s, but the concept itself dates back centuries. All right. So the answer immediately, you guys found it, right? One of the answers. What's the answer? 15, exactly. 15 is B, the origin, right? All right, doctors also, like, historically, doctors believe that one of their key duties, in addition to curing a patient, was also to console him or her, providing a boost to the morale that could help them get better and faster, sometimes in the form of a dummy medicine that had no effect beyond instilling the expectation of improvement in patient's brain. There is another answer in this paragraph. What's the answer? There's answer for question number 20. 20 is no, Munisa cannot be brain. Yeah, most of you guys are right. It is like what? Doctors like here believe that one of their key duties was to console him or her, providing a boost to the morale that could help them put better, faster, sometimes improve their morale, right? Improve their morale. Boost means improve, exactly. It's now widely recognized that while largely ineffective in improving objective symptoms such as high blood pressure or infection, for instance, placebos are generally effective in treating subjective self-reported symptoms, including all sorts of pain. Placebos can take all sorts of forms in inert sugar pills, sham surgeries, and saline injections. All right. I don't think there is anything about example of a situation when placebo has little to no effect. But is there anything about neurological process? Nothing about it. How medical can take advantage. Did they give us any recommendation? Did they talk about appearance of placebos? I think none of these exist in this paragraph. What do you think in B, 14 to 17? 14 to 17. All right. Muhammad Dior, you need to, like, I don't know why you just said. I cannot unmute you, like mute you. Can you unmute yourself, please? I mean, you by now get the. All right, no answers, right? No answers. So we're gonna continue. All right, guys. The singular power of expectations has been demonstrated in a variety of studies. So expectation can be really like powerful. In one, for example, patients given a placebo pill that is referred to as muscle relaxer will experience muscle relaxation, while those given a placebo called muscle stimulator will experience muscle tension. The flip side of the nocebo effect is just powerful. Negative expectations can cause us as much of good one. All right. Like in other studies, it's been shown that pills which are red, yellow, or orange in color are more likely to provide stimulating effect, while blue, green ones are more often perceived as sedating. I think we found the answer. We found the answer. What's the answer? Let's look at, is it about neurological process? They didn't talk about brain. They didn't talk about medical professions, but they did talk about appearance, right? 17, because they said red, yellow, orange in color, they are more likely to provide stimulating effect, but blue and green sedating. It makes you sedated. So the answer is going to be which one? C. Let's look at it. An example of placebo has little to know if patient has N something. And also we have this answer too, like 21 and 22, right? 21 and 22. All right, let's look at 21 and 22 as well. Because here it says muscle stimulator. I do have muscle stimulator because here it said muscle stimulator. So that means I might have even missed the. All right. So the answer is what? Question number. It's been shown that patients will feel in their muscles if they're given placebo called muscle stimulator. They experience tension, right? They feel tension in their. Did you write tension as well? Oh, here it said, while those given placebo called muscle stimulator, a muscle stimulator. No, that's we're good. Yes. Oh, you guys wrote relaxation. You wrote relaxation because it's been shown that patients will tension in their muscles. Here it says, while those given placebo will experience muscle tension, shouldn't be tension because they experience muscle tension. Whereas 21, let's see, because an example where little to no effect. Placebo had little to no effect. All right. Had no effect, right? Had no effect beyond instilling, sometimes in the form of double medicine, instilling boost to the health, get bad faster. Okay, I even like got lost here. Here it says an example of a situation where placebo has if a patient has N something. Yes, it's infection. Yes, in improving objective, such as where, for instance, placebo generally effective in treating or symptoms in gold or surgical check bales. We need to find one of them. It could have been high blood pressure, but we don't have it, so we need to just write when patient has infection. All right, infection, because it has little to no effect means it's ineffective. What is it's now largely ineffective in improving objective symptoms. All right, so the answer is going to be infection. Whereas 22, I chose tension because here it says if you call muscle stimulator, you experience muscle tension. All right, we're gonna continue reading. Okay, let's like neurological process. They didn't talk about it. Oh, there is also another one. There is 23 too. Nocebo effect, right? The answer is for nocebo. Nocebo. Okay, Sivara, why not a high blood pressure? Because it's like, it has to be, because it's N. And also one word only. One word only, and it has to be, noun starting with I, E, one of those letters, right? Nocebo effect, right? Did you guys write nocebo effect? Because it said negative experience can cause as much harm and can do no good, right? So that's called nocebo. And then, all right, finally, the science that underlines all of these studies is not well understood at this point. Scientists have conducted some imaging research into the brain on placebos, and they have found that ingestion of a placebo billed as painkiller leads to increased activity in several areas of the cerebral cortex as opposed to actual painkiller. These areas are involved in so-called higher functions like memory, attention, thought, and consciousness. Pain-killing placebo, it seems, works differently from them. I think I like the answer D for 14. What do you guys think? Isn't it D? I like the sound of 14 for D because here it says, what it does, they found that when you consume placebo, it leads to increased activity in your cerebral cortex, in your brain. That's part of your brain. These are involved in so-called higher functions like memory. It turns out your cerebral cortex important for functions like memory, attention, thought, and consciousness. Two factors which influence the effectiveness of a placebo bill. They didn't talk about it yet, but I think it's also D. All right. So did everyone understand why 14 is D? In a recent headache study conducted by research, now I have the answer for, I guess, 25 and 26. 66 participants who suffered from chronic migraine. Do you know what a migraine is, right? It's next level headache. Were given six envelopes. Okay, they were given 6 envelopes, each containing a pill to be taken after their next migraine attack. All right. 2 envelopes were labeled as Maxalt, the brand name for the widely used migraine drug Resitripration, in order to generate positive expectations, while 2 had no label, and 2 produced neutral expectations, and the 2 were labeled placebo to generate negative expectations. But for each of these 3 labels, 1 envelope held a genuine pill and 1 contained a placebo. All right, what happened then? This allowed the researchers to cross-compare the effectiveness and positive expectations and negative, as well as positive, neutral, and negative isolation. So where's nocebo? Nocebo, I guess we wrote it here, nocebo. Nocebo effect. I mean, that it cannot be bigger than this. It's the highest, biggest it can be. All right. Okay, let's look at this answer. Like, do I? Yes, I think so. You guys got it from the next paragraph, I believe. So the word color. The word color. In D? All right, I guess I missed this one, like, right? Where did it say? Um, in C? Where did we find nocebo? Oh, yeah, like here in other studies been shown that pills which are red, yellow, and orange color are more likely to provide stimulating effect. While, all right, so yeah. All right, it's color and its size. And then they're talking about size. Bigger pills are better when it comes to placebo performance. All right, yes. Yes, bigger pills, they talked about size. They talked about, all right, we're done with this set. We are now focused on the 2 types of questions. We're done with this. All right, let's go. In a recent study, headache, okay, let me read this further because they're still talking about it. We're gonna look at this question at the end. Okay, so far let's understand. Let's understand what happened. So there were 66 participants. They were all suffering from chronic migraine. They were given 6 envelopes, each containing a pill to be taken after their next migraine attack. 2 envelopes labeled max salt, and then 2 had no label, 2 placebo. But each of the 3 labels, one envelope held a genuine pill and once contained a placebo, and they allowed researchers to compare these things. Okay, when scientists analyzed, okay, let's see. These people are joining, leaving, dividing my attention. All right, the scientists analyzed participants' self-reported pain reductions after taking the pills. The power of placebo was proven yet again. Basically, placebo is great. People who had taken placebo pill labeled Maxalt got just as much pain relief as those who had taken Maxalt pill labeled as a placebo. Additionally, people who had taken Maxalt correctly labeled as Maxalt reported about twice as much pain reduction as those who took Maxalt pill labeled as placebo. In other words, in treating complex chronic form of like migraine, the effectiveness of pure expectations was roughly equal to the effectiveness of pharmaceutical itself. Okay, let's not here. You don't really have to understand the details. This is important. So what they said, the effectiveness of pure expectations was roughly equal to the effectiveness of pharmaceutical itself. If you're expecting that I am gonna be just fine, like when you're expecting that it's the same, if it's the same effective, as the pharmaceutical itself. For a doctor, harnessing the placebo's power does not mean intentionally mislabeling pills. You don't want to, that's not what we are telling doctors to do. Instead, a doctor could simply provide a slightly more positive image about a treatment, leading the power of expectation to that of the pharmaceuticals. All right. So I think this one is clear, right? So for 16, a recommendation as to how medical can take advantage, right? Because here it says a doctor could simply provide slightly more positive image about a treatment, lending the power of expectations to that of pharmaceuticals. When doctors set patients' expectations high, Maxalt becomes more effective. Lead author is saying that. Of course, this sort of intentional expectation setting needs to be done carefully. Doctors have an ethical obligation not to mislead patients or withhold important information, but that does not mean making sure to provide subtle positive cues about the effectiveness of medication, especially when those very cues might well make it work more effectively is a bad idea. And one of the study's co-authors put the placebo effect is unacknowledged partner for powerful medications. All right. So yeah, I think that's G, right? For question number 16, it's recommendation how medical professionals can take advantage of it. Because here it says they can take advantage of it by making sure we are lending the power of expectations to that of pharmaceuticals. Do you agree that 16 is G? All right. Now let's focus. Everyone, I want you to read it on your own and then choose the answers after like a minute. Don't write your answers immediately. After a minute, you will write your answers in the comment section. Okay, I'm gonna have to take this here because you have to see, you have to be able to compare. I think you can now write your answers. You can write your answers. Okay, let's go. Let's go now. All of you guys have chosen certain answers. Placebos taken with the patient's knowledge were reported as less effective than those taken without their knowledge. All right. So placebos taken without patient's knowledge, with the patient's knowledge, if I knew that I was taking placebo, they were less effective than those without their knowledge. Did they make such a comparison at any point? Did they make a comparison? This A1. All right. So I'm going to be like, people who took Maxalt without realizing it reported less pain relief than those who were aware of taking it. Where pills had misleading labels, the placebo and the genuine drug appeared to produce similar level of, I think this one is like it, because here it's at, I think this is the C, right? This is C. I believe people who had taken placebo pill, labeled Maxalt, got just as much pain relief as those who had taken Maxalt pill labeled as a placebo. Where pills had misleading labels, right? The placebo and general drug appeared to provide similar level. It's like just as much is synonym for similar level of pain relief. I think the answer is C, one of them, right? One of the answers is C. And now Maxalt, next one, Maxalt, without a label and Maxalt labeled as a placebo, isn't it the same again? The same line? Is the same line as the answer? Like D, I like D too. People who are given no indication of what they were taking reported the lowest. So this one sounds sus to me because this one is really like, usually you don't want to say something very extreme. Like if you look at this one, it says people who are given no indication of what they were taking reported lowest levels of pain. Did they ever talk about lowest levels of pain? At any point, who had the lowest level of pain? Because this one is like giving it away, because for the fact that it's not an answer, because I know it's not a correct answer. Why? Because here they did not talk about who had the lowest level of pain relief. Yeah, I like C and D so far, but they seem really similar. But let's look at B and A too. The placebos taken without the patient's knowledge were reported less effective than those taken without. I guess this one is too smart, but means nothing, honestly, to me. All right, so now we are left with B, C, and D. People who took Maxalt without realizing it reported less pain relief than those who are aware of taking it. Okay, let's look at people who took Maxalt without realizing it. Additional people who took Maxalt correctly labeled. All right, no. Then those who. But here it says people who took Maxalt correctly labeled reported twice as much pain reduction as those who labeled as a placebo. You know, this part. We have these two. We need to search for these two. This is one of the answers here. One of the answers are here. What do you think the answers are, guys? Yes, now I'm choosing B too, like because here it's the same. People who took this is opposite of this. If you look at it, if we can take it here, they are the same, right? They are the same here. Oh, come on. They are the same. Don't you think? Right? Yes, they're the same. But now let's take this one. Okay, let's see if that's the same. Well, where pills had mislabeling labels, I think the answers are B and C. D and like B and C seem to be like the good answers. B and C. B and C. Yeah, like you see, these are not good ones, like, so, I mean, not good ones, not easy ones, usually. You just need to compare each answer. Usually it's better if you get rid of the wrong answers as opposed to correct answers. You know what I mean? I guess that's what many people do. But anyway, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for this one. Now we can focus on, like, anyway, like some questions. Why B is correct? Again, people who, if you look at it, mana o'zbekcha aytaman. Aytib savolni Maksaltni bilmasdan olgan odamlar, ichgan odamlar reported less pain relief than those who are aware of taking it. Bu yerda xuddi shu narsani boshqacha qilib aytgan. Mana bu hozir men bu yoqdan olib tashladim. People who took Maxalt correctly labeled as Maxalt reported twice as much pain reduction as those who took Maxalt labeled as a placebo. Endi mana buni matematik jihatdan ko'rib qaraymiz. People who took Maxalt without realizing reported less pain relief. Demak, aware bo'lganlarni pain reliefi kattaroq bo'lgan ekan. Aware bo'lganlarniki kattaroq bo'lgan ekan, to'g'rimi? People who took correctly labeled, bu yoqda ham shunaqa deyapti. Mana buni olib qarasangiz, mana buni bu yoqda ma'no sal boshqacharoq. Pain relief kamroq bo'lgan bu degani aware bo'lganda, aware bo'lib olgan bo'lsangiz pain relief kattaroq bo'lgan degani. Mana bu gapimizdan xulosa kelib chiqadi. Pain relief kattaroq bo'lgan ekan, ya'ni kattaroq og'riq ketgan ekan, agarki ular bilgan bo'lsa. Bu yoqda ham tekstda ham xuddi gapni aytgan. Sani mana biz denligini boshqacharoq aytgan, o'zingiz matematikka men odatda shunaqa qilib olaman. Agar bironta narsa o'ta nima deyiladi u? Abstrakt bo'lsa, birdan matematikaga qo'yib olaman, tushirib olaman. Esingizda bo'lsa, biz siz bilan qaysi passageda qildik? Yozib oldik-ku. Decisions degan passage esizdami? Juda ko'p har xil gaplar bor edi. Okay, let me tell you. Deliberation without thinking, those kinds of things. And there were lots of research. If you don't write them down, it would get confusing. The same is true here too. So if you translate this, this is what it is. Can you explain C, Res? All right. Let's go. Where pills had misleading labels, okay, placebo and appear to produce similar level of pain. Okay, similar level of pain. Like, let's look at the synonym. Similar lane. I guess, where is it? This one. People who had taken a placebo pill labeled, o'yna qaraymiz. Pillarda labellari teskari bo'lganda yo aldaydigan bo'lganda, placebo bilan haqiqiy dori o'rtasidagi dorini og'riqni kamaytirish darajasi bir xil edi deyapti. Bu yoqda ham xuddi shuni deyapti. Placebo deb yozilgan, placebo lekin unga Maxalt deb yozilgan. Maxalt deb yozilgani o'zi aslida placebo. Just as much relief bo'lgan degani, demak similar level of pain ga sinonim bo'ladi. Men buni tekstdan olib yozib qo'ydim. Ikkalasi bir xil degani. Mana just as much bu yoqdagi similar level ga sinonim bo'ladi. Genuine drug, haqiqiy drug Maxalt. Lekin unga nima deb yozilgan ekan? Placebo deb yozilgan ekan. All right, planet's blue heart. I think it's obvious. It is obvious. It's going to be about what? Yes, 23, Amarbek, 23. Let's look at it. 23 is this. Look, a related phenomenon known as something convince people treatment will do them harm. Related phenomenon known as something convince ana shu phenomenon odamlarni ishontirar ekan, ichayotgan dorisi ularga yomonlik keltiradi, zarar yetkazadi. The flip side of the placeboni teskarisi nocebo. It's beyond powerful. It's just powerful. Negative expectations can cause us as much harm. Cause as much harm degan do harmga synonim bo'ladi. O'sha nocebo ekan.